Am I the asshole for refusing to take down negative school reviews? My son and daughter were relentlessly bullied at their high school and we moved, for that and employment reasons. I wrote some really negative reviews about the school on Google and just about every website you can write reviews about schools on. I wrote the names of the incompetent teachers, faculty and why exactly they are shit and why nobody should send their kids there. Well, the school vice principal contacted me, asking me nicely to take down the reviews. I heard from my friend who has their kid there still that the reviews have actually persuaded some people to send their kids to the Catholic school down the street instead. I told the vice principal to go to hell and fuck off. He then sent me another letter basically threatening me with legal action, saying it was defamation and such. I responded back with, fuck off and leave me alone. Why don't you stop the bullying issue at your school instead of trying to bully me? Fucking dumbasses. If you solved HTESE bullying issues you wouldn't have such bad reviews. Other parents seemed inspired to write negative reviews as well. Well, at the PTO meeting I was mentioned and they said I was a devil ruining their kids' education and such, as an increase in students could result in less funding. I doubt my impact was that drastic, but the PTO seems to think it will be. The vice principal and other school admin have tried contacting my husband doing the same thing, saying he may be more reasonable HTAN me. My husband ignored HTEM.
Not the asshole. School has a problem. You points out the problem. School, instead of fixing the problem they want to sue you. Not the asshole. I'd be speaking with a lawyer and getting a cease and desist letter sent to the school. Sounds like you also need to update the reviews about being bullied and threatened with legal action by the school. Sounds like bullying is rife throughout the school from students through to the vice principal and now the PTO. You wrote the truth and parents had the right to know whether bullying is occurring and being brushed aside at the school.
Not the asshole for the reviews, you are the asshole for your ridiculously aggressive replies. Responding in such a fashion basically guarantees that they won't actually address the root cause and it actually gives them ammunition to characterize you as a lunatic disaffected parent rather than someone with legitimate grievance. If this were to go to court those messages would go against you and although you'd have a solid case it would just make things more difficult for your defense.
Not the asshole. It's not deformation if it's true.
If what you wrote in the reviews was factual, then not the asshole. It sounds like they're devoting 1000% more energy to trying to rid the internet of negative reviews than trying to deal with the school's bullying problem. Might be worth seeking a legal consult to make sure your ass is covered, though, and if it is, have the lawyer send them a cease and desist and update the reviews to say the school has been pressuring, harassing you to remove them. Let them dig their hole. They're handling this really badly.
Info. What steps did the school take when you informed him of the bullying? What steps did you take at home?
Info. Did you document your concerns while your children were attending the school? If they didn't take your concerns seriously then, they have nothing to complain about now. Not the asshole. If your reviews are honest and not exaggerated. You are the asshole. For your replies, there is no need to speak in this offensive manner. If this is normal for you then, it gives serious doubt that this is the full story here. Judging by how you talk to people you might be the bully yourself. You sure your kids weren't the ones being the bullies?
The school sucks for letting your kid get bullied. However, you don't need to be abusive about it. The way you spoke to them is way out of line and downright trashy. And I get the feeling from your overall demeanor here that your kid is one of those kids who is shitty to people and then cries, bullying, when held accountable. I'm a teacher and whenever I have a student who plays the victim, they have a parent like you.
Not the asshole. Your review was valid and if they didn't want to lose funding then they should fix the bullying issue.
You are the asshole. Publishing the teachers' names is never okay. I know it's just your way of getting revenge but those people don't make enough money to be publicly shamed. Maybe they should post your name on your new school's review site warning people to stay away from you.
The school has no right to have the reviews removed, assuming they are true, but you are not exactly acting like a reasonable adult.
Not the asshole. If they cared about their students rather than reviews then they wouldn't end up with such bad reviews.
Not the asshole. As long as what you said is true, it's not defamatory. If what you wrote is encouraging other parents to leave negative reviews and causing the school to lose students, then they need an overhaul.
Trigger warning, we pulled our 17-years-old junior out of school for bullying. We got a new superintendent who has been aware of the bullying and said she wanted me to keep our kid in school. It will get better. I told her it was too late. When my kid tells me she'd rather be dead than go back to that school, the school has a problem. After Thanksgiving, a freshman committed suicide. He worked with my daughter and was constantly bullied at the high school because he acted more effeminate than a man is supposed to act. He was 14. Bullying is serious. Glad you got your kid out. Not the asshole. Leave the reviews up.
Not the asshole for leaving a bad review, that's why the review option is there. However, if they do resolve the issue, and try to help with the bullying or whatever the problem is, I would add an edit to your review. Don't delete the review, just add an edit at the bottom that they did help. I like honest reviews with all the information. I do most of my shopping or anything based solely off reviews.
I'd say that you both are and are not tar. You're not the asshole because you had a right to leave bad reviews about the school and explain your children's experience. It's also not fair for the school to request you to take down your comments if everything you said was completely true. Here's where you ate the asshole though. If the vice principal contacted you being polite and civil, then you shouldn't have responded with the fuck off and other rude responses. They shouldn't have threatened legal action, but seriously, how mature are you to speak that way with people you're having a disagreement with? I'm 19 and I know better. Anyways, I still hope the situation goes well for you. Bullying is a serious matter and schools have an awful habit of not addressing it. You are the asshole. You named people. Give the school a bad review. Yes. Naming people who are both severely underpaid and severely underappreciated. Not to mention it's a shit job teaching kids that don't want to be there. Stuck between shitty parents and shitty management. No. That defo makes you the
ETA, mainly because I'm positive that there's a lot more to this story, especially the school side, than what we're getting. If any one of these teachers did enough to warrant naming them specifically, we'd know about it. It's also a lot to be leaving multiple reviews on multiple websites. This is about getting revenge, not looking out for other people's kids. Not the asshole. You don't know how many potential students could get bullied. Those reviews might save them that hassle. The issue isn't your reviews, it's the school wanting to get away with mistreating a situation, the students. While bullying isn't easily solved, it can be controlled if the school is willing to try, so obviously they're not attempting to. Depending on how bad the bullying affected your children, you could also threaten legal action too on the basis of psychological harm or physical harm. Don't be deterred from protecting your children and standing up for them. Many kids would surely love to have a parent like you.
This definitely reads like it was written by an adult with high school-age kids and not the high school-age kid themselves.
Was there any documentation of your interactions with the school regarding bullying? If not, and you're just putting out names of specific faculty at the school, then they could have a case for defamation. Everyone sucks here, honestly. I don't doubt that the school probably told you the "kids being kids" line, which is a worthless response and doesn't address the issue at all. However, your response when they called was overly aggressive. It seriously makes me doubt you're telling us the whole story, or your kids are telling you their version of the bullying while leaving out parts where they are instigating. I don't fault you for sticking up for your kids, but let's be more mature than the people you're accusing of bullying. You are the asshole for clearly making it up. No adult would respond with that. Also, how would you even know they mentioned you in their meetings? I smell bullshit. Fuck off and leave me alone. Why don't you stop the bullying issue at your school instead of trying to bully me? Fucking dumbasses. If you solved HTESE bullying issues, you wouldn't have such bad reviews. Other parnets seemed inspired to write negative reviews as well. I am so badass.
You are the asshole. Really? You talk to people like that? In a professional context, you say, fuck you. Sounds to me like the school is not the problem. Your entitled, rude behavior and lack of civility is.
Are your T and H keys switched? And goddamn, your spelling is trash.
Not the asshole, but your replies were needlessly aggressive and that can make a person lose credibility.
Not the asshole. What you did was right. You probably helped many parents and children with this. And you even told them that if they bettered the school you would take it down. If they decided not to do this, then it's on them.
Not the asshole for leaving the bad review. However, it seems like you are handling the ongoing contact with the school badly.
Not the asshole. As long as your reviews were truthful, You're entitled to post your honest opinion. Maybe the school should have stopped the bullying if they wanted good reviews. I hope you know that in words such as these, then, and them, the T comes before the H.
Info: what did the teachers do that made you feel like they were incompetent? Was the bullying coming from them or another student that they didn't deal with? I've seen these go both ways, so don't feel comfortable making a judgment without more info. Not the asshole. I'd go even further and argue that you are actually doing something positive here. If you were lying about it, then that would be totally different. But it sounds like you have just reported what your experience was, bad.
Not the asshole. It's time for schools to do something about bullying instead of ignoring. Not the asshole, but a bit of a suggestion. If you actually use the amount of profanity in the reviews and correspondence with school officials that you did in this post, rethink how you respond from now on. I swear like a sailor in my personal life, but doing so in public business situations makes you come off as unintelligent and aggressive. Just give it a thought. Not the asshole is someone who was bullied. You did the right thing. My ma'am took me out of my primary school and the school head teacher put a block on most of the schools in my area bad-mouthing me, etc. These were the days before the internet, early 90s, but had prob would have done the same thing.
It very much depends on if you have proof of what happened and that they refused to do anything, if they can sue successfully for defamation or not. Calling out individuals by name also makes it more complicated. NTA for sticking up for your children. But just a heads up, you may have caused yourself some legal trouble.
Not the asshole. We moved from a school district, a very affluent and high-rated one, after teachers, staff, kids, and administrators bullied, mistreated, and degraded my middle child to the point he can't ever attend public school again. We lawyered up and he was placed in a private school solely for kids on the autism spectrum on the district's time. I let everyone know how bad they sucked as my child was being hurt, and I still will tell anyone who asks how shitty they are to this day. Be a warrior for your kids. If you don't stand up for them, no one else will. It sounds like the school should have done more about the bullying, but did you try working with teachers or school personnel to try to get the issue resolved? Why do you think that these specific teachers were incompetent? By the way that you responded when the principal reached out to you, you don't sound like you handled the situation very maturely. NTA, amend your review to now include details of their efforts to take down the reviews. Everything they do, documented in the review. Not the asshole, but you should never name names. I would go back and edit those reviews because without really good evidence, you could be sued. Better safe than sorry.
I find it very hard to believe that a grown woman who is trying to make a valid point would call the people involved dumbasses, and continually told them to fuck off, instead of politely stating her point. So I'm going with you are the asshole for how stupid this post is. Not the asshole. Tell the vice principal that you're willing to concede your reviews are incomplete and offer to edit them. Proceed to add the part where the school tried to harass you and your husband into silence about the school's bullying problem.
Info. Please provide a lot more info. We're deaf not getting the entire story. And it may not be entirely your fault. Your kids I'm sure aren't 100% innocent and not telling you the 100% truth. And let me be clear, bullying is wrong and nobody deserves it. But I wonder if your kids are instigating drama and facing the repercussions of it. And that's why the school hasn't gotten the results you want. Because there's only so much they can do about bullying when the victims are bringing it on themselves and immediately assuming the victim mentality. Also, your extremely hostile response to the administration tells me there's more to the story. I can understand being frustrated, but flying off the handle like that raises red flags.
You are the asshole, you were rather rude.
The fact that you, an adult, told people to go to hell, fuck off, and called people fucking dumbasses, makes me feel like we're not getting nearly the whole story here. Also, the amount of time you spent to write reviews about the school on every website you can seems incredibly vengeful. I don't think you're a reliable narrator at all, and I have the feeling the VP might be right about your reviews being defamatory.
You are the asshole, you're not giving the full story.
How does a school fix bullying anyway?
Not the asshole. Write more negative reviews about how they're harassing you to take down your past reviews. That behavior calls for the passive-aggressive road in my opinion. Lol.